Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about minting versus buying on PancakeSwap. I see that question come up a lot, so I'm going to try and take it head on. I'm going to talk to you about what my mint, redeem, PancakeSwap purchase strategy is. And we are going to take a look at Elephant Token and see if we can get an idea of how the Elephant Money recovery is going from that perspective. I think right now there are a lot of people that are hyper focused on Trunk and Peg and might be missing some of the optics from that side of the fence. Got a great video for you, so make sure you watch to the end. Without further ado, let's get into crypto. So the first thing I want to talk about before we jump into looking at some actual metrics and charts of Elephant Token is minting versus buying on PancakeSwap. I see this come up a lot in the groups. Why is it better to mint when the overall goal is to get Trunk out of the LP to bring Peg back up? Well, to understand that, I think it's important that you understand what liability versus assets are. So if you do a quick Google search, you'll see that assets are the items your company owns that can provide future economic benefit. That's the big part, that can provide future economic benefit. Liabilities are what you owe other parties. So how does that relate to minting and buying on PancakeSwap? Well, when you purchase Trunk on PancakeSwap, you add BUSD, right, to the LP and you get Trunk back. Well, once you deposit, say you go and you buy 10,000 BUSD worth of Trunk, and you get a great deal because it's below Peg right now. Well, that's fine and dandy. That does help the protocol, but it doesn't help as much as you would think, because that BUSD, that 10,000 BUSD that you just put into the LP is gonna sit there until somebody comes and redeems Trunk on the LP and pulls it out. There is no utility for that BUSD that you're putting into the LP. If you were to take that 10,000 BUSD and come here to mint, then that 10,000 BUSD gets put into the cash treasury, and the cash treasury is used to buy back Elephant Token at a percentage of the total balance per day. And I believe it's 10 to 20%. I think it was 10 at first and it got bumped up to 20%. But anyway, 20% of this balance that you just added your 10K, your hypothetical 10K BUSD to, is used to grow the Elephant treasury. So that 10,000 BUSD that you just deposited now becomes an asset to the protocol. It's got utility. It's being used to help the recovery actively. Whereas purchasing on the LP is just not, there's no utility for this BUSD that's added to the LP. It literally just sits there and becomes a liability waiting to pay out somebody who is coming to redeem their Trunk. So again, the money that you use to mint has utility. The money that you use to buy on PancakeSwap does not. So when we put our money into the BUSD treasury, that is used to buy Elephant Token. Elephant Token, we will look at this in just a minute. This is a Dune dashboard from our boy Daedalus. If you check this dashboard out, you'll see that he's made a few of them for native staking and Trunk Stampede. It's just got an incredible amount of information here. I'm not going to go over all of it because that would just take way too long, but you can check out the link in the description. And if you have any questions right here, join the Into Crypto Crew Telegram group and hit him up. This is a member of our community. One thing I do want to mention about this dashboard is that the Dune data is a little out of date. It's been 21 days since there has been an update to the Dune data. Our boy Daedalus has reached out to the Dune support team, and they have told us that they will be updating their data this month. Not sure when, but it will be very exciting to see where these trends are going when that update happens. So anyway, let's go back here. Look at the Elephant treasury. So you can see that linear growth. So this gray area is the number of elephant in the treasury, and this red area is the value of those tokens in BUSD. So you can see here that linear growth of the treasury eventually produces a parabolic price appreciation of the assets in the treasury. And this is what we're trying to get to. Once we get to here, once we get enough money that has been minted, put into the cash treasury is pumping the elephant treasury is then gaining reflections. And once we get to here, you know, this is where all of that money that you put into minting and into the BUSD treasury will then be leveraged to pull out the excess trunk from PancakeSwap liquidity pool. This is where we want to get our treasuries to, and we don't get them here by buying on PancakeSwap. So that being said, have I minted anything on the website yet? The answer is no, I haven't, because I am in this redeem queue and I am waiting to get this 1000 BUSD back, 944 BUSD, so then I can start minting. My goal, my strategy is to take whatever I get here, use it to buy another 1000 trunk off of the PancakeSwap LP, and whatever is left over, I'm going to use to mint, and I'm just going to keep recycling. So I will be minting, I will be buying on PancakeSwap, but I just want people to understand why minting is more valuable to the protocol than buying on PancakeSwap. So where are we in the scheme of things here if we compare our current assets to our position and our assets pre-exploit? Well, if you look at the treasury here, you'll see that we have about 81 trillion elephant token in the elephant treasury, and that's worth about 6.1 million BUSD. So if we come back here and we look, we see that 80 trillion elephant is somewhere around the beginning of this linear slope. But if we look down here, that's only about 2.5 to 3 million BUSD. If we look here, the tip of this is about 5.6 million BUSD, and we don't get to 6 million BUSD until over here at the very beginning of this parabolic price appreciation period. So where does that leave us? Well, first of all, what's the difference between this point when we had 104 trillion elephant and 5.6 million BUSD in value? Why didn't we go parabolic here, but when we got more elephant token here, we went parabolic here? Well, I think that has a lot to do with the protocol-owned liquidity. And I would bet dollars to donuts that there was a lot more protocol-owned liquidity at this point than there was at this point, and that is one of the squeezes on the price of elephant. So where is our protocol-owned liquidity now? Well, pre-exploit, the total assets owned by the protocol were somewhere in the 80% range. So if you haven't checked that, you might be surprised to know that if you look at the elephant token holders and you add up the amount of supply that is owned by the top 4 contracts, you will see that in fact protocol still owns over 81% of the entire supply. So that squeeze is already there. So do I think we're gonna have to get to 150 trillion tokens before we start to see parabolic price appreciation again? The answer is no. I don't think we're gonna need 150 trillion tokens. I think that a lot of the catalysts are already in place, and let me show you what I mean. So this is the price of elephant over the last 180 days. You can see here is that parabolic price appreciation. Here is the exploit. First thing I want to point out is look at this after the exploit, right? I don't think anybody has really pointed this out. At least I haven't seen any YouTubers point this out, that immediately after the exploit, the bleeding stopped, right? We had our exploit, huge sell-off, and then boom, it's like a stable coin. Look at that. It's a straight line basically. Maybe it's gone down a little bit, but you would think that if there was negative sentiment about the recovery, that you would see much more of a decline right here. But I think this shows that Elephant token has real utility. It's absolutely got a price floor, and it looks like we've hit that price floor. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out, that this largely points at awesome community sentiment for the project from an Elephant token standpoint, right? It's kind of hard to gauge that from Trunk token and what the chart looks like for PEG, because there's so many people just playing the ARB game with it, like it's kind of skewed data. So the next thing I want to point out, I'm going to go here to the day after. Go to the day after. So this was the day after the exploit. You can see our chart here. And what I want to show you guys now is these little check boxes down here. So when I check this and I add Bitcoin, this is not the price of Bitcoin. This is the price of Elephant relative to Bitcoin. So this means they take the price of Bitcoin, or the price of Elephant token, and they divide it by the price of Bitcoin, and it produces this graph. So for this graph to be going up and to the right, that means that the amount of space between the Elephant price and the Bitcoin price is increasing, right? The price of Elephant relative to Bitcoin is increasing, which means that if this yellow line that is Bitcoin is up and to the right, that means Elephant token has outperformed Bitcoin. The price of Elephant is going up while the price of Bitcoin is going down, or the price of Elephant is going down a little bit and the price of Bitcoin is going down even more. So the relative price is actually increasing. So since the day after the exploit to today, to yesterday, let's put it in 05. Let's put it in today. So obviously not much of a change, but I guess they don't have today's data. So, all right. So the price has outperformed Bitcoin, and if we add Ethereum, we see that the price looks even better. So we can say that since the exploit, Elephant token has outperformed the market. The two top coins in crypto have not performed as well as Elephant token, and considering the state of the platform, excuse me, that's a pretty incredible thing. Like literally the day after the exploit, Elephant token started outperforming Bitcoin again. Guys, to prove to you that this is the relative price, if we looked at the price of Bitcoin divided by the price of Bitcoin, it would always be a straight line. And if we go to the Bitcoin chart and we add the Bitcoin relative price, we see that in fact it is a straight line, because no matter what the price of Bitcoin is, if you divide it by itself, it will always equal $1. So just to prove to you that that is a relative price and not the actual price, just you can see here that the relative price of Bitcoin to Bitcoin is 1. Now if we look at the price of BNB and we compare it absolutely to the price of Elephant, we can see that there is some correlation here between the two coin/tokens. Right over here, this is the day after the exploit, so we still had a little bit of volatility. And if you look at the corresponding area over the same time frame of BNB, you see that it doesn't really look the same. So what we can deduce here is that this price action was more from sentiment than it was from the correlation or the liquidity pools that tie the price of BNB to Elephant token. But if we look at basically every other part, we see this peak here, we see this valley here, we can see that the price of Elephant has been sticking pretty closely to the price of BNB. Now, you can see here that the price of BNB is going down a little bit, where at least to me, it looks like the price of Elephant is a little bit more sideways. The take home there is that, you know, if the price of BNB is dragging the price of elephant down, but the price of elephant isn't going down as far, that means that there is positive sentiment, because there is buy pressure that is keeping the price of elephant up a little bit. If there were a bunch of people selling and the price of BNB was going down, then we would see elephant not performing as well as BNB, but we do see it. To me, it looks like it's outperforming BNB, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. The reason that's significant with BNB is because the price of elephant is tied to BNB. So when we see the price of BNB start to go back up, we are going to see a lot more appreciation of the price of elephant, because now we'll have buy pressure from the price of BNB going up, and we will have that buy pressure that's currently there propping the price up. So this is one of the reasons why I think that elephant is primed for that parabolic growth. So we will see in the next couple of months what happens. But if we do look at the stats for Stampede bonding, we will see that the stability ratio is a little over 40%. So that means that the price impact from BNB is reduced by 41%, but that still leaves a large chunk of price impact there. So that's one of the reasons why I think that if we look at these two charts, we can see that elephant does have a large amount of community sentiment, of positive community sentiment, and I do think that it's primed, especially with BNB being at the price that it is. There's a lot of room for it to grow there. Will it happen in the next 2 months? Will it happen in the next 24 months? No one really knows, but positive price action on BNB is going to correlate positively for the price of elephant. All right, everybody, that's all I've got for you in this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did watch this far, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and farewell till next time.